Hey, this is Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and this is Intermediate Java tutorial number 19, which is going to be switches, really important, and two-dimensional arrays. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this snippet of switch code here, just so I could get past typing this stuff in to get save some time and to better display how we're going to do this very quickly. So you could see the formatting here. This is how a switch is formatted. I even recently used a switch on one of my projects, so it is very important, and I will show you how it could be very important. So I know that you're familiar now through the tutorials of an if, a while, and a for loop. This particular loop is basically if statements embedded inside. So each case statement here, which I'll explain later in a second, is an if statement, and it's a very cool loop, and I'll show you here. It's a conditional loop, just like an if statement, but check it out. So here we're going to call month 8, initialized as an int 8, and basically what we have here is that you enter into the switch, the condition is months. So as you go to the cases, it'll only do the case that matches what this month is equal to. So in this case, if I ran it right now, it would only say August, because that is number 8 here, August, and then it breaks. So basically what happens is that no matter what I switch this to, it will automatically do that. So here it says April because I set it to 4, and this is case 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's April. So now what we're also going to take a look at is what happens if we want it to fall through. We'll say, for example, we'll go back to whatever it was, 8, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this guy over these breaks, and I'll explain what the break is. So we start at 8. Now, if we go and run this, it will do something called a fall through. And what a fall through is that when it goes into a case, if the number matches, so in this case it would go into 8 and it'll do what the 8 does. The break makes it jump out of the loop and stop initializing what it was doing inside of that loop. So now in this case, if we get rid of the break, it will do everything. No matter if the case matches or not, it will continue going. So basically what the break is saying is stop doing stuff here, do stuff only on top of above me, and that's it. Jump out of the loop and continue going on down here. In this case, we're going to have it not stop, so it will fall through and keep doing everything here besides the default. So let's go ahead and enter the default out. I'll show you what that is in a second. So here it equaled 8, so it went August, September, October, November, and then December. And you see here, and it actually did do the default. So it kept going until it gets out of the whole switch loop. Sorry about that. That was a little lapse there. So that would be something beneficial, and there's plenty of ways that you could implement this. For example, in this case, it's a calendar, so let's say it's July, and you're like, okay, what months are left in the year after July? And it'll tell you August, September, October, November, and then December. And so that's why you would use something like that. In this case, if you wanted to do that, then you would just get rid of the rest of these breaks here, and then you would be good to go. And also you can see that this is very useful for code reuse and recursion. You might not notice that because I haven't really gone over that yet. I guess I'll go over that in a upcoming tutorial to show you guys how to be more beneficial with your code, which is also what I've been doing lately also on my projects as well. So now we're going to go over what the default does, and if you go here and you enter an invalid month, for example, there's no case that does 13, so you go here and if you run it, it will tell you invalid month because you have not entered in a case that goes in. And if you get rid of invalid month, it will set that case to nothing, and it will basically throw an error because month string up here is not initialized. So yeah, it's gonna automatically tell me that it's not initialized, but we're gonna run it anyways, and it'll say there, you know, the variable has not been initialized because it went in and it did not find a case to set that month string to something, so it has gone through and not initialized it. So initialize it to null or something, or 0, or yeah, something up here to keep it from doing that. So you can see how this is very beneficial. The code looks very clean, not a whole bunch of if and else statements or anything like that. Very, very useful, especially with the default setting on there, so that you could have it do something every time it goes through. It will have something set, and I used 2 of these in a recent project of mine of making a little app thing. So yeah, that's really, really beneficial. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go over the next part here, which is going to be two-dimensional arrays. Now, it's pretty hard to use this with Arraylist, because it's not just that easy to read. So the example that we're going to use here, of course, Arraylist are these brackets here, right? Is going to be that we're doing a tic-tac-toe board, and we have to store in these arrays the x and y value. Each x and y combination has to, or each block combination has to hold a O or an X, or a 0 or an X, or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to basically just do this with the 2 brackets side by side, and we're going to say that they're 3 and 3, and then close it, and there you go. So these are 2 arrays here. So now, in order to set an array, you're going to say board, and you're going to do 0, and then you're going to do 1, and then you're going to do equals to, or you could do 0, 0, which would be, you know, origin is equal to x, and then we'll say like board 0, hold up, 0, and then board 1 is equal to an O. So in this case, this would be the x coordinate, or the origin, I guess you could call it. So it's like the first block is a 0, 0, or the first column and the first row are both 0. In this case, the column is 0, but it's 1 up. So it would be 1 above the origin, and that would be stored as a 0. So here you could have up to 9 different combinations. You times the 3 by the 3, you could have 9 different combinations, and that will store all of the X's or the O's for a tic-tac-toe board, which has exactly 9 places, unless it's a modified game, of course. Now, let me show you what it would look like for Arraylist. We'll just do the shortcut list. I believe that's the interface. Then we're going to say list string. So it's basically saying it's an array list inside of an array list of strings. So I don't know if you could do, I'm trying to think of how you even would do that. So you would do like array list string inside of a list of another string. I don't know if you would want to do that. So yeah, so it would be the exact same. So you have list and then string. So that's a list of an array list of strings. So you could basically have pretty large values. I mean, if you wanted to really do a two-dimensional array, all you do is do list and then you say string, and then you would initialize it to the constructor, right? And then you have another list, and just have those lists interacting with each other. So that way is the best, because you just have it, go back and forth. So like you say, let's not initialize it, let's not worry about that. So you say like 1 and then 2, and then let's just pretend that I constructed those, and then I spelled, string right. And so we're gonna say, 1.get, and then we're gonna say like 0, and then you do from here it should be one.get. This equals 2.get. I'm trying to think here. I'm starting to. So yeah, I think it would be how I had it previously, where it has an array list of of strings. But then you could have a pretty long one, and it would be kind of offset because it's string. And so you would just have them interface back and forth like this, just have them one right next to each other. So it'd be 1.get0 and then and then have them return right. So it's pretty complicating with the list. You could do it, but I would only suggest we will go over it later as far as using it. If we don't know what the numbers are and how many we're going to add, then we're going to use Arraylist or a list. But in this case, we are probably going to use it in something like a blackjack game, a graphical, or actually just console and then graphical blackjack game. You know, the first one would be the card, and the second one would be the suit, and maybe the third one would be the value, or you could just control it with a loop. So, we already know that there's only 52 cards, and that there's only 4 suits, and that it can only be of 11 different values. Or 10 different values, because there's no 0. Something like that. So, then in that case, like I said previously, when I discussed arrays and array lists, it's only a good idea to use array lists when you don't know what the value is. Otherwise, only use arrays because they are better and they are a lot easier to look at. And depending on your style, a little bit easier to do it equals there, set it, rather than .add or .get or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and finish off here. So this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and this is my intermediate Java tutorial number 19, which was switches, very, very important, use them quite a bit, and two-dimensional arrays. And so if you like my video, please subscribe, and to stay tuned with my new series and this series here, my Java series, and I'll see you next video for tutorial number 20. Thanks for watching.